I don't want to comment on all the individual proposals that the new government are proposing for judicial reform. But what I understand from legal friends of mine is that most of them are actually quite good. There is one that is much more contentious, the so-called override clause, and many prominent people who are supporters of Israel, like Alan Dershowitz and others, have criticized this override clause. I believe that in the end, Netanyahu will make a compromise on this, the government make a compromise on this, and we already see President Herzog and in fact Lapid, the opposition leader, Yair Lapid, talking about some kind of compromise. So often Netanyahu says one thing partly to satisfy his own hard right base, and then he'll shift back in. So on the actual process, no, democracy is not going to end, and this is just one reform. Now, let me come to the absolute hysteria of the Israeli left. It is big. I've witnessed hysteria. I was in New York the day that Trump was elected in 2016, and I saw some hysteria among my Democrat supporting friends. I was in London the day Brexit was voted, and I saw some hysteria about that. I have never seen such hysteria as I've seen now. In fact, I just I'm reading Haaretz in English. If I may, we see it on the internet. I just want to show you a few headlines. I'll read them out. No compromise and no dialogue. War. Okay. This one. Israel's contempt for all children. This one. This fascist government. Blah blah blah. This one. The new dark future for Israeli media. Silencing the media. Israel is enlisting Israel in the fight for a dark world order. Blah blah blah. These are just from the last 3 or 4 days. Okay, this is Haaretz, but it's not only Haaretz. It is crazy. Okay. Israel had a democratic election. It's probably one of the most democratic countries in the world. My criticism is it's too democratic. There are too many political parties. It's too easy to enter the Knesset. The governments don't last enough. There's not enough stability. Israel has had 3 prime ministers, Netanyahu, and then Bennett, and then Lapid, and then again Netanyahu, just in the last less than 2 years. Just last year, we had in the same year, Bennett, Lapid, Netanyahu, right at the end of the year. So the idea that Israel isn't a democracy is a libel. The idea that gay rights or women's rights are going to be put to an end, as certain New York Times columnists have suggested, is an absolute blood libel against Israel. It's nonsense. The new Speaker of the Knesset, Ohana, is a Likud member appointed close ally of Netanyahu. Netanyahu congratulated him on his gay civil partnership with his husband. They have 2 children, this gay couple. Netanyahu smiled and waved at their kids. This idea that Israel is somehow about to become homophobic is nonsense. Yes, you have 1 or 2 extremist politicians on the far right who are homophobic. But the last government had a party called Ram, a Muslim Brotherhood party, in which some of those members said anti-gay things far worse than the far-right religious ultra-Orthodox Jews, of which I should just say it's only a very handful who said bigoted